What is the best way to achieve success in anything we set out to do? Some experts say to set long-term goals and align everything with those goals, focus on those, and eliminate all distractions. Other experts say forget the goals, set good daily habits, and reaching your goals will be inevitable. Stay tuned for my take on it and what the best method is for most people. And no, I'm not going to cop out and say it depends this time. Hey, I'm Mike Kramer, KramerNow.com, and I help entrepreneurs build passive income without expensive programs by building unique digital assets that help others. So since we last spoke, what I've done and learned since the last podcast, last show was 12 days ago. Say it isn't. So I have to admit it's somewhat deliberate, although I did have technical errors I literally fixed 10 seconds ago that in OBS, I use a Windows platform here for this, and I edit on a Mac for whatever reason. I sometimes edit video on this Windows box, but that doesn't matter. OBS error about NSYNC or whatever, and I don't remember what it's called. Hardware encoder. I think I have to update my NVIDIA driver. If you guys know what I'm talking about, help me out. I set it to software encoding for output under settings output. That'll fix it. But, I had to look it up, try some things. I'd rather do hardware and update the driver because I think it's a pretty decent video card. It's for gaming, and I don't actually do any gaming. I got it because I do video editing. All right, so somewhat deliberate otherwise that I haven't done a podcast in a while or YouTube video. I wanted to streamline my tasks week to week and just focus on my real estate license. As you may know, I've been working on that since like February. I think I ordered the program, thought it would take me about 4 months. And here I am, just finished all the classes. I've scheduled a test for the Illinois State exam for this Saturday. Wish me luck. And have just completed all about 20 practice exams. There's like 45 questions on each one. Some of them have 90 that Real Estate Express provides with the extra package I bought. Wasn't that much more. I highly recommend it so that I'm covered by their guarantee and they'll pay for my second exam if I fail the first one. So it's a nice guarantee, but I also just really like the practice exams. I have no idea if they're going to mimic the real thing or not, but I just feel like between the questions, the multiple choices, and then their explanation that goes over the multiple choices on each one, you get a really good understanding on top of the training you already did to learn all the different aspects. I don't know if any of those are really necessary to sell real estate because I feel like the test prepares you to be a expert on all things real estate from which you think is a good thing, but I'm talking from historical to legal things to all sorts of crazy stuff that I think are a lot for people to absorb. I understand the pass rate is only 50% nationwide, I believe that is. Varies state to state slightly. Illinois is right around that same 50%. So it's intentionally a tough exam. So we'll see if I get it done in the first try or not. I'll let you know next week. You can get, if you're interested in real estate, a career in real estate licensing, even in investing in Illinois, it helps to get your license. So you can get 35% off your Real Estate Express training if you use my link that I'll put in the description. I know it's not fair to you guys for me to say that I'll do 2 shows a week and then not do a show for almost 2 weeks. So I really need to get my routine down. That's totally on me. Let's get into some other stuff. So since we spoke in my e-commerce world, as you know, I got a few ventures going on. I have an online e-commerce store with physical products. I mentioned that I switched to BigCommerce from WooCommerce. I was really unhappy with WooCommerce. Love WordPress. I love blogs, everything else but e-commerce in WordPress. I don't think WooCommerce is good to run a big store. If you're selling a couple things, fine, but anything else, it's bad. So it's been great in BigCommerce, but I do get frustrated that I cannot change the design that much. And so what did I go ahead and do? Well, as stressful as that was to switch to set everything up on a second platform, I went ahead and signed up for a free trial at Shopify to see if it's any better over there. So I've never actually tried them, and I doubt I'll move my store to them, which would be the third platform this year that I've tried, because Shopify's fees are higher unless you use them as your payment gateway. And I've heard they're slower as far as load times. They don't scale as well. And the SEO, the search engine optimization, is worse than BigCommerce, which I got to admit, I'm already ranking on page one for several things after just switching to BigCommerce. So I can tell you firsthand, not only now, but 8 years ago when I used them, their SEO is just built in and it works great. Good things I could say about Shopify so far. I haven't tried them fully, but just started with a free trial. And even the free themes in Shopify let you change a lot of stuff. I was impressed by that. It might get confusing for a noob, but I just like that you could change a lot of that if you want to, like padding and sticky menus. I was able to get a much smaller sticky menu like I prefer, page widths and stuff like that, even global colors. But I'm shocked that there's no way to change the menu navigation font size. You could change the font to a million different fonts and the weight, like bold, light, regular. It's just bizarre. You cannot change the font size. I believe from things I've read online that depends on the theme you're using. I'm using just some, I think it was the default free theme, but after viewing the other free themes, it was the best, closest one to what I want. So I figured start there and then customize. I don't want to buy anything because, as I mentioned, I'm really not planning on moving to them, but I wanted to check it out just to be fair and see if it helps anyone, to get my expert opinions. I've been doing e-commerce for a while, and I could tell you what I like and what I don't like about each platform. So another thing that Shopify is supposedly better and more integrated is if you sell in person plus sell online, whereas BigCommerce is heavily focused on online only. It's important to me to have fully integrated and updated inventory across all sales channels, and it's maddening to me that no one seems to do that well. Now, perhaps Shopify does, but I haven't tried it. The reason this is so important, besides the obvious, is that I might rent a booth at a local show where I could sell my wares in person, just a one-day show. It's about an hour away from where I live. I've never done one of those for this particular business. I just want to try it and see if I move any product. I hope it's worth it because what a pain it's going to be to bring all these guitars and amps and boxes of strings that I have. I wish I was selling feathers or watches or something. So in my blogging world, I also took a pause from KramerNow.com just temporarily. You probably haven't noticed any updates in a couple weeks. And that's just, again, to focus on the real estate license, but I'll be back to updating that very soon. Just have a lot going on right now. In my YouTube world, I'm still trying to figure out what focus niche to do. Some of you have commented and sent me messages and helped me out. I appreciate that very much. For now, it's just helping people create passive income streams by blogging and doing YouTube. I know it's not focused enough to grow as fast as I want to right now, so I do need to pivot at some point. Again, I'm just kind of testing some different videos and trying, sharing what's going on in my world from both technical and strategic points of view, and software I'm reviewing, everything like that, to see not only what helps the most people and gets the most views, but also, you know, what I enjoy doing, what seems to create more content. And I think I'll just have a natural choice at some point if I keep this up and remain consistent. So at my day job, I have another big test to study for, and I have to recertify for a huge test in Splunk software. It's what I do for my day job in IT, and I happen to be wearing a Splunk t-shirt right now. I actually didn't mean to do that. But if you know what Splunk is, I have the highest certification for it. It does expire in 2 months. It's a 3-year cert now. So I have to study my butt off and take that before December 15th. So by the end of 2022, it's a mouthful, I'll be a licensed real estate broker in Illinois. I'll have recertified as a Splunk Core certified consultant for 3 more years. I'll have relaunched and moved my e-commerce bass guitar store to BigCommerce and probably started learning Python scripting language. Just more for my job, but I think it might help me develop stuff for my businesses possibly as well. So that brings us to our next topic, which is setting goals versus daily habits, which are better for success. But first, we got from the library. So the book I'm reading right now is The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. It's a great book. I've read just maybe a dozen pages or so. Then I just cold stopped, just being honest with you. So I'll likely start over after I pass the next 2 exams that I have to take this Saturday and then the Splunk one. But I should be able to do at least 10 pages a day, even during that time. When I read more and have a little more time, I'll try to do 30 pages a day. The idea being reading about 3 books a month rather than 1 book a month. So our deep dive today is goals versus habits. I almost said coals. You might get coal for Christmas if I'm not good. Goals versus habits. What is the best way to achieve success? So even recently, I was telling people that goals don't matter, just set daily habits. But I realized that I don't truly believe that. Goals are super important, and here's why. So you can have admirable, productive, and even profitable daily habits, but if they don't eventually take you to where you want to be in 3 to 5 years, you won't be happy. So you need something to strive for in the long term. But people say don't set long-term goals. Heck, I've even said that, right? Why? Well, because your goalposts are going to move so much that it's senseless to set long-term goals. Or is it? At the risk of a semantics argument here, I've determined there are 4 extremely useful things to do in order to achieve success. Number 1 is have a long-term vision for your life, your ultimate identity. The caveat is that everything else we mentioned may not line up with this long-term vision. Ideally, it would, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with setting and achieving one-year goals that have nothing to do with your long-term vision. So why would we need one? Because without any other reason or determining factor, this will guide us in setting meaningful shorter-term goals that we can actually take action on. Number 2 is to set 3 90-day goals. No more than 3. You could set less, but don't do more than 3. It's too hard to work on. So these should support your long-term vision, ideally. They don't have to, but they could. So for example, your long-term vision could be, to be a stay-at-home parent, but in the next 90 days, you want to create a website or start a business, achieve something in your career, or increase your sales by 30%. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you have other goals that are eventually working towards your long-term vision. So hopefully that helps clarify what I meant by that, where they don't need to line up. You could have a longer-term vision of your life. Doesn't mean you can't have shorter-term goals in between. To put that a different way, think about what that really means, right? The implications of that are that it might be kind of silly to set long-term goals, like a bunch of them that are so rigid. You need to be able to be a little more agile, and that's why I just advocate for the 90-day goals. But I do recommend you have a long-term vision of your life, and that's more of what I'd call the ultimate identity. And that's just based off of where you want to be headed, how you see yourself in eventuality. It might mean several other things. The goals might change, but that ultimate vision, that ultimate identity of yourself and your life isn't going to change as much. So that's why I don't call that goals, but it could be semantics argument. That's why I mentioned that. So for the 3 90-day goals, I like to do 1 for business, 1 for personal life or career, and then 1 for health and fitness. So number 3 is to have a weekly battle plan for what you will do that week to move the needle towards your 90-day goals. For each one, write down the most important next step. Write down any obstacles that you might face that week and how you're going to deal with those obstacles. This will prepare you for anything that should come up, or at least get you thinking about contingency plans and fighting through any obstacle, no matter what, to hit those weekly goals. Number 4 is to write down your daily habits that will inevitably push you towards your weekly goals. Tools that will help you succeed in the daily habits are something called Seinfeld squares is one method. That's where you have a calendar or a page and you X each day so that you don't want to break the sequence. If you go for a walk every day for a half hour, like I try to, you have an X each day you walked, and then you'll see a sequence and you don't want to break that sequence. It got its name from Jerry Seinfeld told this story where apparently as a young, starting comedian, when he's just starting out, he told himself, I'm going to just write a joke a day, right? One joke a day. And he marked on a calendar every day when he wrote a joke. And after 5 days, he never wanted to break the sequence. So he made sure that every day forever, maybe not forever, but for a while, he wrote a joke a day and had 365 jokes every year. And I don't know how long he did that for, but that's what helped him to keep going. Another method that helps you with the daily habits is to schedule your time. It's really important. If spending more time with loved ones is important to you, put it in your calendar. So some people might think that sounds cold or robotic or, oh, gee, thanks for penciling me in, or whatever. But this shows how important they are, that you've blocked out time in your day and you'll protect your calendar appointments no matter what. So it's just a different way of thinking. Don't think of it as, oh, that's a obligation or something you feel like you have to do instead of something you want to do. The whole thing is you look at what people say is important in their life, and then you look at their calendar, and their calendar is really what's important, what they're focusing on. So if these other things are important to them, it should be in your calendar. I mean, just you want that in sync as well. And it shouldn't be viewed as some sort of, cold way of approaching your family or some sort of duty or meeting that you don't really want to do. Everything in your calendar, ideally, is things that you really want to do that are really important to you. There should be your workouts in there, your goals, that sort of thing, right? If not, reevaluate what you're doing and why is your calendar filled with stuff that you don't want to do? Just something to think about. So as you can see, both goals and daily habits are key to setting and achieving your goals. So I have changed my viewpoint in this from in the past years when I've shared different viewpoints. So no matter how massive or ambitious those goals of yours may seem, just break them down into 90-day targets, into weekly objectives to reach those targets, and then daily habits that you need to do to inevitably reach your weekly goals. So it's time for our time hack of the day. So, when I first thought of adding time hacks of the day to these episodes, I never once thought about just how many I have in my memory banks to share with you all. I'm starting to think there's only about a dozen or so, and I'm about to run out very soon. So today, my time hack of the day is focus. Eliminate distractions. So I got pretty good at focusing the last month or two, and the reason this is a major time hack is that you can get way more done by focusing on just one thing at a time than jumping all over constantly. This has been proven and is true for everyone. Some people are able to change their focus more rapidly than others, but no one can multitask well. You get way more meaningful work done when you focus and you get more done. So to eliminate distractions, turn off your notifications on your phone. On an iPhone, it's literally just a switch on the side. Google, I don't know, might have the same. They also have a newer feature I know on Apple phones for enhanced focus time, where you can tell it that you want to focus. Turn your phone over. Don't look at it. The flashing in the distance distracts me, I found, so I literally just face it down. And do that for at least 20 minutes at a time, 20 to 30 minutes. So we're not talking about focusing for hours and hours without a break. If you're distracted easily like I am, get a timer and set it for 20 or 30 minutes and focus on a task, whatever you want to work on, until that timer goes off. This could be for work, for your job. This could be for a project, could be for cleaning a room. Whatever it is, you do that in 20 to 30 minute bursts. Take a short break, stand up, whatever, do another 20, 30 minute burst. That way there's an end, and knowing there's an end soon gives you a sense of urgency, and you'll find it much easier to focus on one thing. There's a name for this. I don't know what it is, but it's worked for me, and I don't do it as much with the actual timer, but I do tell myself, okay, look at the clock, it's 5:30. Well, I have till 6, and then I'll set a timer for 6 or I'll just look at the clock. But the timer really does help, because when it goes off, you're like racing against the clock trying to finish whatever it is you're doing, and it makes you focus more for sure. So also having white noise like rain or a fan helps me a lot. Probably helps other people. It just blocks out all the small noises and things like that, and helps eliminate all the thoughts and voices in your head. But like songs or whatever, instead of music, I find myself singing. I love music, but white noise helps me focus a lot better. So, all right, that's all we had for today. Thanks a lot for your time. Let me know what you want to hear next. Links to everything are in the description. Check my website, kramernow.com, with step-by-step guides and links to my socials, podcasts, and books that I've read. Find me on YouTube. Just search for Mike Kramer Marketing. Have a great day. And as always, take it easy.